especially when the ruling party is the majority in the National Assembly, both at the upper house and the lower house. And that, and as at today, we don't think we have up to 10 senators who are in the opposition, and that makes it very difficult for them to effect any changes. But that being said, last weekend some persons led by Aisha Yusuf, they went to the National Assembly on occupying the National Assembly, and Tanko Yusuf, who is the leader of Tanko Yunusa, the leader of the obedient movement, has told Nigeria that the obedient should get ready to occupy NAS until the right thing is done. And what is the right thing? You see, the Electoral Act amendment was before the National Assembly, before the Senate, for their input, because the House of Rep has finished their work and everything expected of them. One of that thing that very important and crucial to Nigerian democracy is transmission of result in real time from the polling unit. And the Senate, through the leadership of the National Assembly, came and addressed Nigeria to say that they could not at this time make transmission of electoral result from the polling unit, because we lack the capability. The technology is not there yet. But a group of senators led by Senator Abaribi came on air to say that what they actually taxed was transmission of result. So there's this confusion. There's this confusion, just like what happened in the tax reform law, where they said, though the one that the one that was assented to by the Mr. President was not the one that passed through the House. So these are the issues. So whether the senator had the will to remove Akpabio or not, it depends on the Nigerian people. If the Nigerian people first cheated and felt that Akpabio can no longer lead the legislature, especially as it is today, and they occupy the National Assembly, I don't even think that we need the senator on his own, because when the pressure is on him and it's on the entire nation, there will be no choice to be a change of leadership. I think it's not the sole responsibility of the senator alone. It is the responsibility of all Nigerians to ensure that there's a change of leadership at the legislature as at today.
Peter, we know that the bid of Nigerian is not being done by either the executive or the colleagues at the House. They do the bid of their paymaster, who has become like the executive arm of government. Do you think the call for Akpabio's removal as Senate President will scale through?
Yeah, he might not go through, but it is long overdue, because Akpabio has shown that he's an enemy to the common man on the street. For him to come out and say boldly that nobody will bully Senate into doing what they don't want to do shows that he does not respect the electorate. A man that gets his office from the electorate will speak that way. You have people that elected you. They've told you this is what we want. We want an electronic transmission of results real time. And you're telling us that you will not do it. That shows who you are. And let's look at Akpabio's time in office. It was under Akpabio's leadership that today we have 2 tax laws out there. It was under Akpabio's leadership that for the first time we'll have a state of emergency ratified by voice votes. It's under Akpabio's leadership that today everything that comes from presidency is being has a free way, a free pass. It's under Akpabio's leadership that today Nigerians are asking for electronic transmission of the result. I say no. See what they did. This thing has been with Senate for months. They delayed it. What you're going to hear next is that the time is too short for us to put the technology that we need in place to make it happen. It is a grand plan. They know that they didn't get there by our vote. So Akpabio has shown himself to be anti-person. It was still under Akpabio's leadership, I almost forgot this, that a senator was suspended by 6 months. Why their constitution said you cannot suspend more than 2 weeks? It's how he has abused that office. So for Nigerians to ask him, it's time for him to go. It's long overdue. He has overstayed. He is not leading the Senate right. This is the dumbest Senate we have in this country. This is a Senate that cannot stand up to presidency. This is a Senate that's betrayed the trust that Nigerians has on them. Why do we have the National Assembly? Is to checkmate the executive. The National Assembly of today, under Akpabio's leadership, has become the 4th branch of the executive. So he should go. I am in consonant, I'm in agreement for everybody that's asking for him to go. Because if he cannot give us what we demand, he is there to serve us. He's not there to serve the presidency. He is there to serve the Nigerians. He is there to serve the flag, not on the mandate we should stand. So he has taken side. And he has taken side on the mandate we should stand. So he should go. I totally agree with that.
Okay, all right, Philip. Let me look at other areas where we can look at if the people voice can remove the Senate President. During Obasanjo's period, we saw the change that came into the National Assembly from one president to the other. It was not from the people; it was from the presidency. Do you think the reverse will be the case now?
Of course, that's where we are. You see, you can't compare the presidency of Obasanjo with that of Tinubu today. You know, people tend to say that the Obasanjo presidency, being a former military head of state, they thought there was some military, coronation. But if you check what is happening today, this is clearly a dictatorship, presidency.
Style of rule.
So Obasanjo presidency is a democratic system of government. Yes, the president, played a role in removing the president, but it was through lobbying. But this one is direct instruction. Go this way and the legislature go that way. Don't go this way and they don't go that way. This is only time. It's only in this government that we know that we can reach to third majority by voice voting. It was never done in Obasanjo's period. So when you take your mind back to say, or you compare it, it's not comparable. You see, but what we expected, like you said, is it the reverse is the case today. So that is why I said in my initial statement that look, the onus is on the people of Nigeria to take their rightful place by pressurizing their senators and their House of Rep members who are represented by the National Assembly to do the rightful thing. And how will they do that? Is to mount pressure on them, and that is why the call for occupy the National Assembly until the right thing is done is a Jamaican call, and that's the only. It's a peaceful way of showing. They expressing their grievances, and that way they will record their senses to know that they are not an extension of the executive, but they are separate arm of government that is independent of the executive. That is the only way. It is the reverse is the case. The people and the people. Remember, Senator Wabara say, "What will I tell my people when I get back home? My people, my people, my people." This is the time for the people to make their representative to do the right footing. If you remember, this was when President Obasanjo was accused of trying to extend his tenure with a third tenure, and the Senate conveyed a sitting, and whereby I said, I cannot go back to my people in Abia to tell them that look, we have added another tenure to president. Say, I can't face my people because the pressure we fight. This is the time for the people to show that Akpabio can't go back to Akwa Ibom State to face his people to say that he helped to destroy democracy. That Akpabio had become an enemy of democracy by saying that that we cannot make transmission of a result compulsory or mandatory at this time. This is the time for the people to mount pressure on their lawmakers to do the right thing.
Hold on. I want to come to when it talks about the people. Now, the first one, if I come to that, we had a budget and a plan for beavers and IRF. We went through the training and everything that we needed to do. It was supposed to be beavers and IRFs, trainings, sign contracts, everything. How come all of a sudden, at the nick of time, there became a glitch? That's number one. Then the other one is that these people that we talk about, don't you think they are conquered already? Because by now, the streets should have been full.
Okay. To start from let me start from the beavers. It worked. If you remember some elections prior to general election, it was used and it worked. At the general election, it worked for Senate and House of Rep. Only we had glitches was at the presidency level. So the right thing a Senate should have done is to investigate what caused the glitch. As of today, Nigerians have not been told what caused the glitch. Senate has not set up a committee to inquire to know what caused glitch for it to be forestalled for next time. No, they didn't do that because they all benefited. Most of them benefited from the glitch. Most of them benefited from the fraudulent acts. See, people was saying something. People, let me listen to someone. When the people did not elect them, what did you expect them to do? How many of them came into power through the vote of the people? I know how the senator. No, I know how the senator from my zone came in. My village, Arochukwu, did not vote. They brought gunmen. They were shooting.
So that's what I'm saying. Even if the people did not vote, this is the time. Hold on. This is the time for the people to show that though we did not vote, but now you can muzzle our voice. Why are the people not on the streets?
It's not by recalling them. What people should do, which I agree, which I'm volunteered to be part of it. We all should march to National Assembly. We outnumber them. They're in the minority.
Where are the people?
We are the people.
Where are they?
They say they are sitting tomorrow.
Okay.
Emergency sitting. So we should go there and demand it. Or to answer this people are in a minority.
Okay, all right. Philip, let me turn to you. The beavers and the IRFs were tested, trusted, billions of naira spent on it, engineers, installation, programming, and all that. All of a sudden, the glitch came. And like Peter said, after the glitch came, after the election were conducted fully, there's no inquiry, there's no why the glitch happened, no rectification, nothing. Now, Amupitan came and told us that the IRS and the beavers were not the first option. They were just like a backup. The man that is just coming into INEC is the one that is now speaking for what has happened before. Then the people, where are the people?
You see, when you asked, when you said there were no inquiry and there were no explanation as to what, caused the glitches, I will tell you that the answer is in Amonpatu's speech. He had told you there were no glitches, but because there were no law backing it, so they had to hide under it to say that there were glitches. That is why the Senate, under the leadership of Akpabio, are running away from making the transmission of result mandatory, because it is not a question of glitches. It is a question of not being backed by law. So when it's backed by law, there will be no hidden place for the evil man. So therefore, what they tend to do is to perpetually retain the provision that was vague to allow INEC to do whatever they wish to do. Like Peter rightly pointed to you, when the billions of naira were spent on beavers and the rest of them, it was tested first in a House of Assembly by-election in Delta State, Isoko constituency 2, where they lost the member of House of Assembly. I can vividly say the next place was in Anambra State, and the third place was Osun State, and it worked perfectly well. Even in the 2023 presidential election, in the Senate and the House of Rep, there were no glitches. So therefore, there had never been glitches. That is why nobody will come to give you an explanation why the glitches, because there were no glitches in the first place. The only explanation you need is what Amupatu has told you in the mind of Amupatu, because it's not backed by law, so we can hide under it. So therefore, Mr. Akpabio, you don't have to make it mandatory, even though the House of Rep had made it mandatory. But the good thing here, the good things here, whether we are saying the people are docile or not, the people are not trying to, to wake up from their slumber. Because of the COP, you say we are occupying the National Assembly, and thank God for the life of Yesufu Aisha, who led some group of persons to the National Assembly last week Friday. Today they said they've adjourned on the 28th or something, but they have recalled themselves back that there is emergency sitting on the electoral matter, on that same electronic transmission tomorrow. So therefore, the people should do more. They should actually go there and let them eyeball to eyeball look at the people. Why the people are occupying the National Assembly to say that we are retaining that same provision without making it compulsory. That's why the people come in. The people should do more.
And I'm glad for people, society like NBA, for speaking out for the first time, and they were firm. They said they must be. They need to be. We should take our election away from judges. Free judges can't decide for us who rules us. NBA have said it. There should be an electronic transmission of result in real time.
Peter, Senate is one. actioning it is another.
But it
Do
is
you
somewhere.
think? Yes, I agree. We start somewhere, but we have to talk the talk and walk the walk. As you have finished talking the talk, the NBA and its president and its executive should lead the people to the streets, because this is not about party. This is about Nigeria. The Nigerian Society of Engineers should not just issue a statement. They should stand up and go to the streets. That's where it takes. That's where it comes from. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
I agree totally. I was watching, I think, on TV. I think it was over the weekend when I saw a religious program in stadium. See the crowd there. Imagine having that kind of crowd on National Stadium on Tuesday. Imagine what this if just 30% of us in Abuja turns out.
No, 10%.
I said this often. People don't get it. These people, they are in the minority. They are. We will allow this list in the society to control our lives. They're not better than us. Just that some of us were not able to play the kind of places they play. So we have allowed this for so long. They feel like Nigerians are docile. This is time for us to show that they are not docile. That's the level you push a person through. He will react. If they push Nigeria to that point, that we need to react.
Philip, if the members of the Senate or the senators that were elected by the people, whether we elected them or not, but they have a senatorial district, if we don't allow them to visit their senatorial district by not doing what we want, these are from the people. Do you ever think, in your closing remarks, that these things will ever happen?
You see, the question is that do they even visit their central district?
That is it.
They only come to write result when there is election time.
That's what I'm saying.
So
when it's time to write results,
yes,
you will not allow them to come.
you know what has happened to this country? They have weaponized poverty.
Yeah.
So the time come,
Rice.
they will send emissary. You know, you remember the story of Jacob when he was returning back from Lebanon to his home.
To Esau.
Because he is afraid of Esau, what did he do? He sent bribe ahead. That's why the president of NBA said the worst bribe taker in this country are lawyers and judges. So what they learn from Jacob, and that's what the Nigerian politician does. When the time gets closer, they send emissary of bags of rice, gift, money, and the rest of them.
But what did Esau say? You didn't tell us what Esau said.
Well, whatever happened, Jacob gets results, and the politicians always get their results.
But not by bribe, by God's divine hand.
Oh well, yes,
So-
but we're taking the one we're taking now.
Okay. All right. It's okay. What we want is the people. Am I correct?
Yes.
The people should come out on the street and say, no, enough is enough of this rubbish. We'll be right back.